Shh, wait a minute. Can you hear it? Dun, 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 boom, boom, dun, 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 boom, boom, dun, 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 boom, boom, dun, dun, dun. Remember James Brown's song? He said, I feel good. Dun, 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 dun. I knew that I would. Dun, 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 dun. I feel nice. Sugar and spice. So good. Bump, bump, so good. I got you. Bump, 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 bump. Somebody said, why are you so happy today, Mr. Ellis? I'm happy because I'm alive, I'm breathing, and I thank God that disappointments only excite me and to make me work even harder to fulfill the God-given mission of a legacy of teaching others about what I know and have experienced so that they too can maximize their full potential through number one, inspiration, number two, education, and number three, it equals empowerment to fulfill their legacy and destiny in this life, no matter what area it's in. But in particular, we're talking about copywriter insights. This is video number 2, and we're going to specify one area today, and that is how copywriting affects the world of e-commerce. Now, in copywriter insight video number 1, I expressed a stat that Michael Brenner, the CEO and founder of Marketing Insiders Group, spoke in 2018. He declared and predicted that by 2019, content marketing would be a $300 billion industry. That has happened. But guess what? The numbers have gone up. At the end of 2019, remember the beginning of 2019, content marketing was $300 billion. Listen to this jump. Let me calm down and slow down a bit. The jump is this. By the end of 2019, e-commerce generated $3.5 trillion in sales. I'll repeat that. The beginning of 2019, content marketing was a $300 billion industry. By the end of the year, what they call the fourth quarter in revenue sheets and data, that amount had grown to $3.5 trillion in sales. E-commerce, that's online buying and selling. So those of you that have an e-commerce store and have strategized properly and did not shrink back because of COVID-19, a part of that $3.5 trillion should be in your accounts right now and paying your staff and doing what you have to do. Now check this out. By the year 2021, e-commerce sales are predicted to rise even more to $4.9 trillion. Now, in order to understand this, those of you that are not familiar with the universal law of seed time and harvest, some people call it karma. Others say you reap what you sow. That law is not prejudice. It does not see color. It doesn't see age. It doesn't see size. And it particularly doesn't see demographics. All that law knows is that if you work me the law, like the song James Brown, I feel good because I got you. If you have an understanding of the law of seed time and harvest, often called the compound effect, sometimes called the law of reciprocal or recycling, a cycle, you understand that if you want an apple tree, you have to plant that seed in fertile ground, ground that allows it to grow. After you plant the seed, apple seed, you have to water it, fertilize it, and it has to have enough sunlight, your watering, and rain. You can't give it too much water by yourself, or else you'll drown it. However, when it's properly watered and fertilized and gets proper sunlight, you'll see not a big tree at first, you'll see a small sprout come up out of the ground. And then you'll see it grow more and more. When that seed becomes a full tree, it produces apples that you can harvest and sell, get income, replant some more, and get another harvest. The cycle goes on and on and on. If you check out and observe any farmer, anybody that manufactures wine from scratch, you will see an increase of their harvest because they have the strategies to make things work. They work the law of seed time and harvest. That is how e-commerce has went from $300 billion at the beginning of 2019. Now at the end, it went up to 3.5 trillion. That's a big jump. And it's going to go to 4.9 by 2021. And then after 2021, it's going to increase. Here's why. Think technology. More people are using their smartphones, their Androids, their laptops, and their tablets to make purchases. As a matter of fact, 55% of mobile users who use search for a product want to purchase that product within 60 minutes. Again, this is stats. 55% of mobile users who use their searches on their mobile devices buy and purchase a product that they like and desire within 1 hour. And again, I'm going to reflect back to this is why it's important to have different buyer personas. You want to know who's buying your product, and you want to know those who desire to buy and why they're not buying. Devise a strategy to get them to buy as well. Because, see, the effort is more than just sales. There are some people in business that are building a generational legacy. Floyd Mayweather is a good example. Shaquille O'Neal is another one. Dennis Kimbrough is one. Madam C.J. Walker, Garrett Morgan, the one who invented the traffic light. Alonzo Herndon is another one, and his business still exists today. It is called the Atlanta Life Insurance Company. Maya Penn, at the age of 12, designed headbands to wear. They were headband ribbons. At the age of 12, you know she still has to go to school. She was doing it part-time and grossed $50,000 in 12 months, 12 years old. What was special about Maya? She understood seed time and harvest. No one can just set up a store or an e-line commerce market, offer products, and expect people to just come to it because it's there. Because if that was the case, every business would survive between 1 and 5 years. And most businesses fail within the first to fifth year because they don't have an understanding of seed time and harvest and organized planning, effective planning. Copywriters just don't write. For those of you that don't know, they strategize with the writing. The words are moved into different areas to create different emotions within the audience that the buyer personas point the copywriter to. They are catalysts, male or female. Brian Clark grossed $12 million in 1 year. Nadar and his father, O.C. Ruby, sold $500 million worth of real estate just recently. They're out of New York. I've talked to them through LinkedIn. These are the type of people I deal with. I don't deal with flaky people. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If not, go down the road, because guess what? I don't have time for that nonsense. I am here to help you better your situation and help your legacy. As my mother and father would say, don't be farting around, because it don't work here, because I feel good. I got Copywriter. That's my friend. It's a skill nobody can take away from you or from me or anybody else that knows how to do it. So what else about e-commerce? 83% of people that search want to purchase that item that they desire within the day. So you have 55% of the millennials, basically, that want it within an hour. You know, those are your Android phone users. And then you have the other 83% people at home watching TV, cooking, mothers, single, wed, divorced, this, that, and the other, that want that purchase within the day. But guess what? Both of those types of purchases, the 83% and the 55%, still are within 24 hours. So imagine if you had an item up there, let's say $100 for a pair of, let's just say cowboy boots. And you realize that there are 14 states where people love to wear cowboy boots. Not one, not two, not three, not 10, 14 states of Western wear. And you multiply 14 times 100. Just say one person bought for the day. So that's $1,400 a day. And it's a low rate, but it's just an example. So take 1,400 times 7 and multiply that. Now let's say 200 people times 14 states bought one day. Multiply that. And then multiply that times 7 days. Take that amount, multiply that amount by 4 weeks, a month. Multiply that monthly times 12. Watch what you get. You can easily make over $200,000 a year or $1 million just through e-commerce alone. Mind you, 99% of the Western stores or product stores that I know have more than one item. You multiply it times your hottest item. What is your best seller? There are cowboy boots that sell for $36. Hello, Kohl's. And there are also cowboy boots that sell for over $12,000 because it's a particular type of leather. It's that leather, Italian leather. You know, like when you're buying furniture, have you ever watched Blue Bloods? And you see the office that the commander-in-chief is in, that black, sturdy, classy leather furniture. It's called Chesterfield. It's some of the best leather furniture that you can ever purchase or have personally designed for your taste and style. It never goes out of a trend. It never goes out of date. You can purchase it. Let's say you live back in the 50s. It was there. Here it is, 2020. That furniture is still one of the highest quality of leather and one of the best sellers for any further furniture company. And that's why they never take it off their e-commerce website. You always see it there. Even with the Contempt, Comstock.com. The Contempt leather furniture, the Chase, which is actually comes from the French era. So things along that nature you need to realize and understand. It's not just putting up a product, it's putting up something that people want to buy and specific people buy to pay specific prices for that item. So e-commerce is vitally important when it comes to copywriting They go hand in hand. You cannot have a productive e-commerce line without a qualified copywriter. You also need a qualified web developer to put those proper codes in, to run those A/B tests, which take 2 weeks. Before you launch that store e-commerce, before you launch that website, you have to have A/B testing and other tests to make sure it's hot. Where is it cold? Where is it lukewarm? What adjustments do you have to make before you put it out there? There's a gentleman I know right now, Brother Williams, Calvin. He's doing well for himself. Brother, too. Brother. Brother. He emailed me not too long ago and said he was getting some things together. He A/B tested for 2 years. Now, how long you do it is on you. But basically, it takes 2 weeks just for one item. I mentioned cowboy boots. If you're doing hats, it takes 2 weeks just for hats. So every item that you put out there, the A/B test takes 2 weeks. What's the before? How does it rate after? Who's buying? Who's not buying? Who's hesitating? All of those intricate details are important. And this is what copywriter consultants do. This is what qualified copywriters do. They just don't write. It has nothing to do about your copyrights, about your book. It is writing a story and making that content effective. It's creating a story and conveying it with words, pictures, and images as I check my notes. It helps you to create copywriting, and copywriters help you to create buyers' personas where your return on investments is 124% or more. I didn't say 10%, didn't say 20. Somebody said, what did he say, fella? He said 124% on your return on investment. These are real stats. So they help your content marketing to boost your blog traffic to 232%. Why? Because the strategy that they use functions off of psychology, karma, the law of seed time and harvest. Many of us are familiar with a bamboo plant, but many people don't know. When you plant a seed for a bamboo tree, you will not see a sprout until 5 years later. This is scientifically documented. Look it up on YouTube. Google it for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Google it. Hello, Les Brown, who gave this insight, and it's true. I searched it. He's the one that turned me on to it. You know, Les Brown, the motivational speaker, the multimillionaire, that guy. He stated that once you plant a bamboo seed, it takes 5 years for it to come up. But guess what happens? When that bamboo tree sprouts, it shoots up 9 feet. Amazingly. Why? All that pressure, all that growth underneath. A lot of people see the final result, but they don't understand what's underneath. What is the foundation to make it successful? Relating it from my martial arts training, my instructor said, Mike, if you get one stance down pat in this self-defense system, every other stance is easy. And guess what? The stance he had us standing was the hardest, the most painful, the one that gave me the most Charlie horses, trying to sleep at night, waking up, beating my legs, going to the bathroom, beating my legs over and over, trying to get this pain out of my legs. And it happened night after night. We worked out 7 days a week, 80-degree weather, at first for the first seemingly month with no water. And then we took orange juice and cookies. And basically, the only time we stopped if somebody had to go to the bathroom. That was it. Other than that, it was straight up working, 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 working. The man trained us like horses because he was trained like a Clydesdale horse. You know, the ones that pull the carriages in New York for weddings and stuff like that with a little fur around their hoofs. Those are Clydesdale, very strong. Any horse is strong, but Clydesdales have that extra strength to pull. Well, all horses are strong. Clydesdale are known for pulling the carriages. So I said all that to say this. The horse stance was the foundation. Then you're able to do the cat stance. You're able to do your Kibadachi stance, Nanchi. All of that you're able to do. Why? Because you're used to that horse stance. Foundation is vitally important. Same thing goes with e-commerce. If you have a local store that's located and you're putting it online, I don't care what you're selling. These basics you have to have in order to be successful. It's the same way with a flower. You have to plant it properly, fertile ground. If the ground is too dry, it's not going to come up. That's why you don't see a lot of flowers in the desert. It's too hot. The ground is different. It's not moist within it without water. So if you put water to it, it's still not going to grow. It has to mix, has to intertwine. It has to do a dance. Copywriting and copywriters create a literacy dance, and they create an emotional, psychological dance between the words and the story. They create a story that dances, and that story talks to your audience. It speaks loud to your audience. Why do you think McDonald's is so successful with the golden arch? Infographics, color psychology, what people see. That golden arch gives a subliminal message. I'll say this much. The rest you're going to have to pay for as far as color psychology, because some things are free and some things you pay for. Hello, somebody, up in here, up in here, up in here. McDonald's uses the arch for a reason. Now, back in the day, in the 60s, those of you old enough to remember, they used to play certain songs in stores. Those songs created and gave off, a subliminal message. And the song said one thing, but the subliminal message was, buy this item, buy this item, buy this item. They also did this type of experiment with backmasking of songs. They took Mahalia Jackson's records and put her records in a greenhouse. And they let it stay there and play for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, the plants grew and blossomed like crazy. Why? It was a subliminal message that said, praise God, praise Jesus, hallelujah, hallelujah, through her songs. Life-giving words, spirit. The law of seed time and harvest is set in motion in the spirit realm. You see the manifestation with your sales, but it starts in the spirit. Then they took 2 weeks and put rock and roll songs in there. Look it up, it's there. It's called backmasking. That's what they called it back then. After they checked the greenhouse with the rock and roll in it, all the plants died. Why? Because the rock and roll songs, the musicians were on drugs, and the words, so the subliminal message was praise Satan, praise Satan. Don't get nervous. I pray you straight, praise Satan. And then say, don't get nervous. I'm letting you know, don't get nervous. Some people get nervous when they hear that word. All the plants died. Why? Death was the subliminal message. So back to these stores in the 60s. They then said, okay, you got to take those songs out of there because subliminally, you're brainwashing the people to buy. So what did the marketers do? They said, okay, let's do it through colors. Let's do it through stories. Let's do it through infographics. Let's do it through video. Why do you think Nike started off with red? I'll throw this in at no charge. Red is the best color to use when it comes to power, success, and generating sales and holding a viewer's attention. If you check racing history, when someone has on a red tag and another runner comes near them, that other runner will try to get away from the one wearing red because it represents power, success, and authority. It vibrates. Look at Neil Patel, an amazing mind in content marketing and web development, and he's just crushing it. Neil Patel uses orange in his writing, slips it in there. Orange represents energy. They also use orange in a person who has asthma's hospital room to give the vibe of energy and breath. What they say in Hebrew called the Ruach of God, inspire, in spirit, inspiration. So there you have some things about e-commerce that you probably never heard before. And that's a good thing because we're all here to learn and to share from each other. So those are some things about what copywriters do to help those of you involved with e-commerce. A lot of people in India, most of my followers on Twitter are from India. No offense to nobody else, but they're very geared in SEO and IT. Other people are too, but in India right now, content marketing is off the chain. Everybody's trying to get into it. That and IT. And those are two areas you cannot fail, as well as copywriting, which involves not just writing. Can't stress this enough. It involves strategy of what to do with the words, how to make music with your words and images to get your target audience to comply with all of your call to actions. You want brand loyalty. You want repeat customers. It's easier to deal with a repeat customer than it is to sign up a new client. A new client, you got to go through a certain process. A repeat customer deserves the best treatment. They deserve that because they're buying from us over and over again. So what else about copywriting? There are different formulas to use. You can use SMART, S for specific, M for measurable, A for action, R for it has to be realistic and relevant, and T for time bound. You can use SWOT, which deals with strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and things along that nature, your timing and your threats. You can use PLAN, PLAN. You have to plan it. You have to love what you do. You have to be awe-inspired with your actions to create awe with people and your audience. And the N is for never think small. You can use the 4 C's. You can use the 4 P's. You can use PAR, P-A-R, and there are many others. So it's all in strategy. You want someone to help you that knows strategy and that can cause these things to happen. Your copywriting, if it's not easy to understand, if an 8-year-old basically cannot, an 8-year-old or 8th grader can read your stuff and get something out of it, your copywriting is good. If they can't, your copywriting needs some serious adjustments. Your copywriting should be highly desirable and solves problems and causes your customers to avoid pain. It should have a high perceived value. This is Copywriter Insights video number 2. Whoever you choose, check their credentials. Who have they worked with? Did they have a mentor? Did they go to school? What subjects did they study? If they studied SEO, if they studied web development, if they studied brand marketing, even if they study photography to a certain degree, that's also helpful. You have to check what they studied. Did they study psychology? Was it specified? Was it color psychology? Was it cognitive psychology? Was it organizational psychology? There's over 150 different areas of psychology alone. If they study sociology, they're going to be good. If they study criminal justice, they're going to be good. If they study journalism, they're going to be good. If they study social engagement, communication, and sociology, they're going to be good. Why? Any discipline that required them to write an essay. Here's the foundation. Any discipline of academics or mentoring that required them to think before they write, think while they're writing, analyze after they're writing, to edit, reproof, revise. Why? It's process. Get in the horse stance, Mike. Oh, it hurts. Foundation. Reverse punch, reverse punch, reverse punch, reverse punch, reverse punch, reverse punch. Notice the change. Reverse punch, reverse punch. Now palm strike to the side. You can do one, chop. Eye gouging. Different ways with knuckles. Blocking out. Down. Hitting the radial nerve. This way. Hitting the median nerve. All of that because of the foundation. Covering. Different ways to cover. For what? Defense. You can do one, you can do the other. Foundation is the key. I've been at this thing over 40 years. And again, the martial arts has 22 business principles, so everything's related. Copywriting does that and makes it relative to your audience. Why offer something people don't like? Don't expect them to buy it if they don't like it. If you're selling shrimp, only the people that like shrimp is going to buy it. Don't get upset if everybody's not buying it. If you're selling caviar or Dom Perignon or Cristal, which is $100 up of champagne, those are the people that are going to buy it. Herb Chambers up in Massachusetts is crushing it, been crushing it for years. He's a car dealer, got everything up there. Bentleys, Lexus, Rolls Royce, your Phantom Rolls Royce, your this kind of Rolls Royce, your Azure Bentley, your Continental Bentley GT Speed, your Coupe, your Viet. It's a funny name. It begins with a V. Got that type of Rolls Royce up there. Got all kinds. So the Rolls Royce people that like Rolls Royce, that's what they're going to buy. Somebody with I know a sister right now down in Atlanta, used to be on TV with her cool self. You got married not too long ago. You go, girl. She know who I'm talking about. She heard it. She just bought, I believe it was her husband, Bentley, $350,000. I mean, she got it like that. Go for it. You go, girl. You go. You go. You go. She's something else. That's why I say, so are you. It's okay. You got to have a sense of humor. So you also want your copywriter or your copywriting, your content and strategies to be easy to get. Your product and services should be easy to get. Eric Thomas, brother, walked the streets, was down and out, walked the streets of Detroit, going hungry for like 2 years. Father kicked him out of the house, went through a lot of changes, went through college, did bad, then did good. Found this out through Tony Robbins years ago. People would talk about Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins is crushing it. However, at that time, Tony Robbins was doing the cassette tapes, and people were complaining that it took a long time after they ordered his tapes, cassette tapes, to get to them through the mail. Thomas kept hearing that. He said, there's a gap. If I can make motivational tapes and get them to the people quicker, I can now market my tapes. That's what he did. Now you see E.T., that's what they call him, the hip hop, motivational speaker, brother cool, and he is cool because he keeps it real like I do. And most folk from our area of inner city do that. It's not bragging, it's not being cocky, it's just who we are. I like singing. I'm singing today. Isn't that wonderful? But he filled in that gap, and now you see Cool ET all over YouTube, going to the Netherlands and dealing with all kinds of people. And there's another brother that's really good. I can't mention his name because I want you so bad, brother, out there in the West Coast, but he just hates publicity, and I don't want him to get upset. So I'll say it this way. This brother is so bad that he don't even bother with LinkedIn that much. He's up there, but he don't bother with it that much. He gets all of his clients through referral. Now, he deals with all types of people, but all of his clients are through referral. One time, I was telling people, I put it up there quick. I said, well, if you want to get in touch with him, contact me. I had sent him an email. He didn't answer, and I moved too fast. And so when he saw it, he said, Mike, that ain't a good idea. People that know me, they know how to get in touch with me. Then he got slick, because I tried to get slick. He said, he put me in check. He said, what was you thinking anyway? He said it real nice. And I was like, ooh, uh-oh, Twilight Zone. I said, I just figured I'd help you out, which I was trying to do. I'm zealous. But I pulled it off. And he's right. People that now this man got some caliber. I mean, his net worth is it's over $7 million. So they know him. He's done films and all kinds of stuff. He's gotten awards through Hollywood, and he's just popping. But my point is, because of his skill level, he can now go by total referral. Do you know what it means? You just go by total referral? Very little advertisement? I mean, that's like gold in the midst of sand. That's very unique. So you want your copywriting to be so unique that people can't help but to make those clicks to your call to action. That's believable, incredible content and strategy that gets results. And it should be low risk or no risk to you and to the purchaser of your target audience. You want it to be a win-win situation. Mary Henderson of Australia is a brand strategist, crushing it. Ruthie Bowles is another good one. Nick F. Nelson on LinkedIn, always putting up their videos and helping people. I mean, these people are just working to work. What's my point? My point is, all of us are basically using the same foundation. If it works for me, it works for them, it works for them, it works for the brother in California. I done gave his state, but there's a lot of people in California. They still don't know who you are, brother, man. They don't know. And again, there's a gentleman that lives right in my town. I'm not even gonna mention my town. You can see it on LinkedIn. And so you still won't know who he is. He is known throughout the world in a certain industry. His net worth is over $30 million. He's very low key as far as publicity, but he's popping in a certain industry, especially amongst the millennials. I have yet to meet this gentleman. My son has seen him twice out in the Milford Mall. And I'm not going to say too much more. You might figure it out, but he's a good guy. I was just talking to a young lady, Allison Feliciano, who is into Forex trading. She's been in it for about 30 years because of her skill. She had an office in Stanford. Those of you that don't know, you have an office in Stanford, you got to be crushing it in order to keep up the taxes and the rent of occupying that space. Stanford's next to where? Greenwich. It's next to New York. It's next to Norwalk. So knowing demographics of corporations and businesses that have a heavy high-end flow causes you to target the right people. People that sell Western wear. If you live in New Jersey, don't just look at New Jersey. Look at Texas, Nevada, Arkansas, even Hawaii. They wear cowboy outfits. It's called Hawaiian Western slash. It's a slash there. So all of that's important. And I said all that to say this. If you need an excellent copywriter, you can contact me at mike8828 at yahoo.com. My other email is mikeiswealthy@gmail.com. The other email again is mikeiswealthy@gmail.com. Or if you need a web developer, I don't do web development. If you need someone involved with IT, if you want somebody that specializes in SEO, I do that with the other people. If you want to get in touch with a dynamic photographer for your video shoots, you can also contact me and I can refer you to someone. Now, I'm going to say this. If you're involved with high-end Forex trading, I know some, but I'm not a licensed broker. I can get you in touch with a heavy licensed broker. And I just mentioned Allison, the sister's bad from the Bronx. Let me just say this about my New York people. I love everybody, but I got a special love for my New York people. Because when I was younger, my parents took me to the Apollo Theater, and something was deposited in me, a special love and passion for New Yorkers, especially those in Harlem, Bronx, and BK, baby, which is Brooklyn. Bedford-Stuyvesant in the house. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. Brownsville all up and down this place. Oh, glory to God. Yeah, and I was born in New Haven, but my passion is for others as well. So this sister's from New York, and she had a place in Stamford. She's eating in restaurants in Greenwich. I'm trying to tell you something. She knows what she's doing. I just conversed with her today about some different pairs of Forex things and how you maneuver this, that, and the other. We were chatting through LinkedIn back and forth. And I told her, I said, the reason why we're constantly chatting back and forth is because we have things in common. You have something in common with psychology. You have something in common with copywriting. And your skills and expertise, there are people waiting on you. If you've been in business 10 years and you have not hit the $10 million mark as a corporation, you need to reach out to somebody that can help boost you to get there. Because every corporate business's dream is to reach the $10 million mark before the 10th year. I've dealt with people in management, worked for them actually. Joe Branco, who used to own the Dunkin' Donuts on Whaley Avenue, way up in Amity, and he used to own the one on Washington Avenue in North Haven. I can talk about it now because he's out of the business. He did it for 10 years. He paid off that $10 million. He bought into the franchise. He put in about $1 million or more a year to clear it. In 10 years, he cleared it. But what would happen if you got to somebody in high-end sales and ticket closing or Forex trader who is a broker or used to be a broker like, or, Nadar and OC Ruby, who are still doing things in real estate transactions, $500 million in 1 year. What if you got in touch with somebody like that? They boost your business. Instead of it taking 5 years, 10 years, cut it in half. So God bless you. Take care for now. This is Mr. Ellis signing off. Bye-bye.